as he ejaculated, he pulled his gun out. Well, Larry liked to carry a gun, and blew about 4 holes in the ceiling to go along with a little bit of the girl's back of her throat, I guess. Anyway, predicated on that, I told Larry, I says, I think there's a guy up there in Cincinnati, Ohio, he'd be a better bet than me. And he went down the road, and of course, he went on his own, and I think Al Goldstein pulled a lot of his coat, meaning he taught him a little about the smut business and told him about, distributors and publishers. And, of course, the rest is history for Larry. Larry and I probably didn't interact a lot over the years, and then, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, we kind of got back together and had a meeting concerning, whether it'd be advantageous for us to take the Hustler brand and start to build Hustler clubs. And we proposed to build them together and invest in them 50-50, and we've done considerably well since we've started the Hustler chain. And like I said, after what is it, golly, what's 40-some years, we're still friends, and really enjoy one another's company, and it's been a nice relationship. And for two young guys at the time who kind of took separate paths, and were friends and have enjoyed a lot of success, it's nice to come back together and chat about these experiences we had together. Where do you want me to go next?
Well, did you have deja vu before Hustler?
Oh yeah. Well, here, look. If you want to go back to clubs now, see.
Yeah, please.
In the period between those early theaters and 1972, 73, because the police state had a pretty good handle on being able to take your license to a theater. It wasn't quite as protected as it is now under the First Amendment, and it took a lot of legal cases to bring it to where you have protection against prior restraint today. Then there was none, so they could just kind of take your license and put you out of your business for just about any cause. But it was a little more difficult for them to do that to a bookstore, because you didn't have to have a particular license for an adult bookstore. There wasn't any zoning yet at that time with this phony secondary effects that the government has dreamed up. So in that period, we probably opened 50 bookstores around the country, and a lot of them were the first in a lot of cities across the country. And that's why I happened to be in Cincinnati when I began this relationship with Larry Flynn, is because we had bookstores, my friend Stanley Marks and I. And while we were in that area, we expanded into a theater in Newport, Kentucky. That was a Cinema Art Theater, I believe it was, in Newport. And around 1974, a film came out by the name of Deep Throat. And we played it there. I'd made a deal with the Piranhos out of New York for special terms for our theaters. And when we exhibited the film, after about the first week, the feds raided us for interstate shipping of obscenity. So they set the trial date out front, and of course we had to go on trial. Now, we were facing 35 years in that particular case. And interestingly enough, we were convicted, but it brings another long story into this history of our experience in the industry. And as the trial went on, it went on for quite a few weeks, and our judge, I remember his name, Max Swinford, and he was probably 70-something at that time, and he was better known as the hanging judge. So we really felt that we were going to be hung facing the 35 years, so to us it might as well just have been a thought of a party. The government made a big exhibit out of this trial. They brought in Linda Lovelace, Gerald Damiano, and of course They put Linda Lovelace on the stand, and interesting testimony. She actually said she loved what she was doing, making the films. Later she rescinded that and wrote her own book of how she was forced into the films by her then lover Chuck Trainer, but all that wasn't the case. I mean, she was had U.S. Marshal escorts at this trial, and if there was any problems in her life, she certainly could have told them about them. At that time, she said, took the stand and as a government witness and said that, she loved giving oral intercourse, and that she made the movie of her own free will and had a blast doing it. The jury was made up of probably, I would guess, half elderly people, and there were 2 or 3 younger people on the jury. One I remember ended up being a foreman, a gentleman, probably at the time maybe between 35 and 40. He had a girlfriend that was better looking than Farrah Fawcett, so when she came to court, everybody kind of drooled, and she came to watch this trial along with what we used to call groupies. We went on many trials in many cities across the country, and there were always seemed to be a group of little girls that showed up that were trial groupies, and they were always trying to kind of flirt with us, and we picked the ones that we liked. And like I said, we didn't take the trial serious because we always looked to win them on appeal. So we'd take the girls out at night, have a big party, drink lots of wine, eat like pigs until 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I don't know how my lawyer ever did it, because most of the time I was so hungover I couldn't tell what was going on. But he did wonderful on his feet and made good trial records, and this particular case we had to appeal up through the appellate process to the Sixth Circuit and then of course the U.S. Supreme Court. And it's called U.S. v. Marks. Very famous case, still quoted wildly? What's the word I'm looking for?
Widely?
Wildly?
Widely?
Widely, that's it. How come I got wildly? Still a Supreme Court case is quoted wild. Let's do it again. What is the word?
You just say often, if you want.
No, just say
Widely?
widely. Okay.
Yeah.
Just got to spit it out. It's still, let me start. The case is U.S. v. Marks. Still quoted widely by many, many lawyers. It stands for the proposition of how plural decisions are decided by the Supreme Court, and sort of part of ex post facto, meaning that when they tried us for the case, they tried us under a new case law, which was Miller v. USA, which is still kind of the obscenity law, instead of Redrup. And Redrup was kind of standard when we were arrested, and Miller was decided sometime after. So it was reversed on for that reason, and by that time it was probably, I would guess 76 maybe. So the U.S. attorney didn't want to take it back to cause, and he wanted to negotiate a deal. So one of the defendants, Guy Weir, agreed to plead the company out, and at the time it was our company, American Amusement, and he, as the officer, pled it out. Now, a lot of strange things happened in this trial. Not only after the trial did I become good friends with one of the girls on the jury, but my lawyer became very close to the jury foreman. I think I remember her name, Mrs. Scully, it might have been. I don't have to remember the little girl was my friend, but she came to Las Vegas and met with me one time, and we enjoyed our friendship. Anyway, the foreman of the jury, like I said, started to tell you, he, and this is about hypocrisy, he had a girlfriend who was, honest to God, I can still see her face, she was so beautiful. And they'd come to see the film at our theater prior to this trial, and they liked it so well that some friends came to town, and they took their friends back to see it. And yet this jury found the film obscene. I always wondered in my head, how do you justify finding it obscene? Well, when I was with a little girl here in Las Vegas, I couldn't remember her name. I asked her, what went on in the jury room? What was going on? Well, we figured you were so rich you win it on appeal. Right?
Would you?
Sound guys on
Would
it.
you like a water for right now?
Yeah, if you don't have one.
Got it. Cut.
Cut.
Yeah.